I just wanted to say thank you all for joining us here today at the funeral service for FaZe Clan. They had a great run, one of the biggest orgs in all of esports, gaming in general, really. And now they're buried 6 feet under. I'm sure you may have taken a look at the FaZe stock price over the last couple days just to have a good, hearty belly laugh. This puppy is crashing harder than DB Cooper when he jumped out of that airplane. It's down to 42 cents and it's at risk of being delisted from the stock market itself. A 95.8% decrease. It is disastrous, and it only continues to get worse. A lot of FaZe Clan veterans have come forward with their horror stories about being in the org and everything awful going on behind the scenes, and it's honestly heartbreaking. Like, it is rough. It seems completely miserable, and just this sinking ship, this festering wound that continues to ooze pus. And it's all very public because now it's publicly traded, so more people can see it, and more members are coming forward. It's just a catastrophe. And I wanted to talk about it a little bit today because, I mean, all of you know, I own an esports organization, Moist Esports. I promise you there's no orgs doing it like we're doing it. We're the best goddamn org in the world. And we're also losing tons and tons of money. But the difference between us and FaZe is we know that. We're in it losing money with a smile on our goddamn face because the content is legendary.
Joel? Smell what the rock is cooking.
It's the people's elbows.
And Tombstone Pizza.
Shut up, bitch.
It seems very unlikely.
I'm tired of digging holes, Grandpa.
Well, that's too damn bad.
He's one of those kills. Nobody's taken down and...
I just chose 2 random clips from some watch parties we did recently. One of them's like a Rocket League regional, and then that one's actually from our most recent watch party for the Moist Moguls Valorant squad, our Valorant team, when we beat Shopify Rebellion last week. So, just quick moments that were on top of my brain. It's so much fucking fun. Yes, we lose a ton of money, but we're not at risk of closing anytime soon. In fact, we're only going more hog wild in the industry. But FaZe Clan is what we're here to talk about today, because it is just looking terrible for them. FaZe Tico recently put out a video putting them on blast, going over some things, and I kind of dove in detail on some of the stuff that I've learned in the industry and exactly what's going on over there. So I just wanted to talk about it a little bit. I would wager a guess that all of the original FaZe members are at the mercy of all of the suits that have been brought in and took control of FaZe.
How are you going to be the biggest organization in the world? Leaders in this scene, pushing this scene forward, pushing this industry forward, leading by example, and you can't even take care of your members that's been in for 12 fucking years. I've never claimed to be...
Well, it's because that's the whole space. It got infested with Silicon Valley types. They assumed aggressive control of these organizations, probably by flashing tons of money in the face of young men that established them, like in this FaZe example. You had these young kids, Call of Duty kids, see these like really established businessmen coming in, waving fat fucking stacks, and they give up too much control of the company, and before they realize what that actually means, they end up in a position like this where these suits have no fucking idea on what exactly the company even produces, what the product is. They don't care about the people in it. It's all supposed to generate money, and they don't know how to do that. So now you have FaZe being public, worth less than a stick of gum. They have no way of righting that ship. They continue to spend money on brand recognition plays, which don't equal money in the bank, so it continues to spiral out of control. We have seen it with so many fucking esports orgs now. 100%. It's a goddamn shame. Investors ruin everything, it seems. Well, it's not just investors. So a lot of these suits come in and try and like... I don't want to say like sell people on a delusion, because FaZe is the most well-known gaming brand. Like it's a normie brand. It's breached the normie market. Kids know it even like in school, right? So it does have brand play, and you would think that translates to money, but in this space it's unique where it almost never does. So they're losing so much money because they bought so many creators all at once and still had no idea what to do with them. Like, they spend tons of money on content. You remember, like, the millions they poured into, like, Be the Next FaZe member contest? And, like, no one watched it. They had, like, 200 peak viewers on that whole thing. It was, like, this live stream series that only got, like, an average of 50 viewers. Most of you don't even know what the fuck I'm talking about. case in point, they spend so much money on things because they don't know what the product is. They tried to corporatize it, but outside of like the FaZe members, it was just suits trying to make number decisions that don't actually work. Like it's so misguided. They have people at the helm that don't know the space. They don't know what they're doing. And then they shit on people that have been there since the beginning. All of that's been publicized. It sucks. I feel bad for them. They were young kids that got taken advantage of by the suits. Just greed always will be. Well, it's more than greed because it's super misplaced. For example, buying Snoop Dogg. What the fuck has Snoop Dogg done for FaZe? Besides take one picture where he had a FaZe necklace. Has he even been in a single piece of content? That's a genuine question. I don't know if he has. Let me see. Fairly confident he hasn't been in a piece of content since the announcement. It looks like March 7th, when he signed, is the last thing he's been in for them. Like, that is a worthless spend. Completely fucking worthless. And I guarantee it was an equity play. I guarantee not only did they pay him, they gave him stock in FaZe. That's fucking worthless. He doesn't do anything for them. But they think because it's Snoop Dogg with a name like that, somehow him being on board is going to translate to money in the bank to start getting more in the green. Somehow, magically, but it never does. And then all of their esports teams are a huge expense. Even when they're good, they still don't make money off them because the salaries are so expensive, travel is so expensive, and unless they're getting first place and they're taking like 30% of the prize money, it doesn't offset the cost of what they're spending. So they're tossing even more money into the fire pit, and then they have like 90 creators and like a crazy large content team that produces shit that no one's watching. Like they have no way of making money. They're so fucking trapped.
The only contract I've ever had with FaZe, guess what contract that is? The only contract I ever had.
80-20. 80-20.
The Tfue contract. The only
80-20.
contract I ever had with FaZe.
Yep.
As I was publicly defending FaZe on Twitter, everywhere, about that whole situation, I was in the same contract myself.
The Tfue contract was a big drama, if you guys don't remember. Tfue publicized his FaZe contract. It was extremely predatory. FaZe would keep 80% of everything he'd ever make. He only gets 20. At least, I think it was 80. Might have even been more. It was 80 or more of everything Tfue does or whatever. They get 80+% or whatever, and he only gets 20. That was the contract. Somewhere in that ballpark. I'm pretty sure it was 80-20. 80 to FaZe.
For free, by the way, while you sell the drop for millions and millions and millions of dollars. You can't even pay me.
I've talked about that before. This isn't actually an exclusive FaZe problem with what he just said there. A lot of big orgs will force the creators that they sign in the org to do their ads for them, and they get nothing. So, I'm not going to say any names. It's not worth it. A lot of orgs, when you sign a creator, they now become your marketing vessel. So if you have a Chipotle deal for your esports org, that deal will now extend to all of your creators, but they don't get that money. So they'll do the ad for you, and you take that money. It's part of them being a part of your company. That's the benefit to the company. So they'll do an ad for Chipotle for free, and the org's the one that actually takes in the money. It's a huge problem. That's something I've talked about before as well. I think that shit sucks. I think that shit is trash. The fuck is up with all these high-end orgs? Like I said, they don't know how to make money in the space. They don't. Nobody does. It is an industry that bleeds money, and these suits came in because they saw this crazy fucking like 15x multiple in the industry for some fucking reason because all the numbers are so inflated. They came in, you know, dollar signs in their eyes and thought they could make so much cash off it and quickly realized they can't, and they don't know how. So they desperately started making very greedy, predatory decisions, which leads us to today, and they're still losing tons and tons and tons of money.
I just owe you something because it's such a fucking privilege to be in FaZe, right? I've been in this fucking gray zone.
That's how the orgs get you.
Because like, no, obviously I'm not nearly as important as these guys, but I'm also not getting paid for anything I'm doing. I'm just in the middle. Hey, you're a valuable.
For what it's worth, though, Tico, they're also not getting paid. So like the other members he mentioned, like the other co-owners, when Tico's doing those free ads for them, they're doing the free ads too. And FaZe itself, the org gets the money, but it doesn't offset the cost, so it's still just zero. They still aren't getting shit from it. It's a complete fucking wash. Does FaZe have Bronny? I'm pretty sure FaZe has Bronny. LeBron's son? Yeah, they do have Bronny. I thought so. All of those people are probably not only on payroll, but also own shares in FaZe, like you mentioned. And significant ones, too, I imagine. Which is fucking worthless. Worthless. The actual idea of getting a celebrity involved in an esports org is cool, but only if that celebrity is actually going to be active in the org. Like, I have no doubt, in particular, Lil Yachty could have been huge for FaZe. And actually, I think he did do quite a bit with FaZe for a little while. I don't know if he still does. But, like, that can work. You bridge the gap between normies and your org. And if that normie lightning rod, like Lil Yachty, is enthusiastic about the org, a lot of good can come from that. So it's not a bad play, but they're choosing the wrong partners and giving way too much for it.
And the first way in for me is me having to invest $50,000 of my own money. And even in that whole process, they fuck me over. So I'm asking you, this is not a video where I'm gonna...
Damn, that's unlucky too. That 50K would go a long way right now with FaZe public stock in the absolute shitter. Unlucky. That 50K, I bet, didn't even buy him a full percent. Probably not even close to a full percent. FaZe used to be valued at $1 billion. Yep, FaZe used to be valued at $1 billion before going public. I think it was actually right before going public. And now it is valued at, I believe, 30 mil. Let me double check. Sorry, I exaggerated. It was worth just shy of $1 billion in October 28th of 2021. So not that long ago, a roughly $1 billion valuation. Oh my god, that's another thing that I've talked about a lot. So since all of these orgs have been taken over by these corporate zombies, they do not give a fuck about any of the teams at all. Even when they take first place, you'll be lucky to get a tweet out of them. You'd be so privileged to get like a tweet out of it. Because it doesn't matter. They don't make fucking money off of it. And they're realizing that now. Even when they take first in a major, they don't make anything off of it, and it pisses them off, and they can't figure out how to monetize it. Show them. What the fuck do you mean? I don't make any money off of it. But Ludwig and I know that. Like, Lud signed up, no, he knew our financials. He knew how much we were losing. And it's a lot. But the difference is, we know. But the thing is, it's fun. The content is unreal. That's why you see creator-led orgs are kind of working. Like, it's not just Moist. You have KC. Carmine Corp is killing it. I think Carmine Corp is actually almost profitable, which is unheard of in the space. Carmine Corp is led by French streamers. Well, mainly a French streamer, Kameto. And they fucking kill it. They're doing amazing. And now you have Disguised Toast with Disguised in Valorant. I think even XQC's toying around with the idea of getting in the space. Like, the creator-led orgs are really like the only viable way right now. Because, like, it's content. The product is content. TSM is still doing well, yeah. TSM still remains profitable even with the FTX collapse. 100 Thieves remains profitable because of their merch and their acquisitions on the business side. TSM is like a unicorn in the space, though, for sure. TSM is like absolutely somehow able to do it really well. 100 Thieves is really smart with their business acquisitions. That's another big thing I've talked about. A lot of these, I think people have kind of got privy to it, so I don't think they do it as much anymore. But when we were first getting into space, it wasn't uncommon to see these contracts extend to anything involving their talent. So, we'd even seen a contract that took Twitch sub revenue. Totally unrelated to the org. Like, if you were a streamer that joined the org, they were entitled to some of your Twitch sub revenue. Which blew my fucking mind. Blew my mind. Like, it's totally unrelated to everything involving the org you're signing with. It was so shady. It was so fucked. But that just shows how desperate they were to somehow try and get green. There was no links they wouldn't sync to. Yep, none of that is surprising. I think all of that's... I think Rain also talked about that a few months ago. All of that's pretty much exactly what everyone already kind of knew was happening at FaZe. Not surprising at all. Sad to hear, though.